Hello, Patriots. My name is Robert Patrick Lewis, and I'm one of the co-founding members of First Amendment Praetorian, the group of military, law enforcement, and intelligence community veterans who provide pro bono intelligence and security services to patriotic and religious events. I am not wearing my official 1AP shirt, if you realize, if you're somebody that watches these, just because this is something that came up, just a question, something that I wanted to encourage people to think about it. I just got back from Dallas last night from doing an advanced recon for the Memorial Day event we're doing there in Dallas, the Forgotten Country Patriot Roundup. And something has really been going on my mind, right? So I'm watching the news and I have a call with the head of Linwood's security team in a little bit just to kind of prepare for that, since Lynn will be there talking. And just something's been going over and over in my mind that I thought would be a good question to ask people. And that is, what if it's real? And if you need me to develop that a little bit more. So Linwood, for the last however long, since Linwood started coming out with some bombastic statements over the last year, there are a lot of people that have encouraged you to think that Linwood was a kook, that he was crazy, that the things he was saying should not be believed. Now, it should be also remembered that the same people that are telling you that are the people that told you that Russian collusion hoax was real, that the Ukraine phone call impeachment hoax was real. They're the same people for the last year who have been branding anybody that said Wu flu escaped from a Chinese level 4 virus facility was insane. And now those same people are scrambling to catch back up now that all the official sources are saying, well, yes, actually all indications are that that's probably what happened. So the same people, a year ago, you were called a conspiracy theorist and a lunatic if you said that the virus escaped from that lab in the same place as the outbreak that we know NIAID and Anthony Fauci were funding, where the epicenter of the virus started, where they happen to have a facility that works on those kind of viruses, right? Just common sense stuff, right? So let's extrapolate that a little bit further. So in investing, you have a thing called a hedge, right? So a hedge on your investments, which means I invest in X, but I have a hedge. So if instead of going up, X goes down, or if I bet via puts and shorts and things like that, if it goes down and goes up, your hedge is to ensure that you don't lose your shirt, right? So what if all of, or even part of, things that Linwood and others like Isaac Cappy and other people, Sidney Powell and Mike Lindell, right? So I know a lot of the people that are probably listening to this already believe in them, but just for your friends and family, what if part of it's real? I think that's something that we need to think about. Furthermore, what would your hedge be if the things he's saying are real, or even just a part of it, right? So right now, a lot of people that are encouraging you to look away and not paying attention to what Linwood is saying, they're just trying to convince you to go along with your merry life. Don't pay attention to Maricopa. Don't pay attention to what's going on in Windham, New Hampshire, or Antrim, Michigan. Don't pay attention to what Linwood is saying. Don't pay attention to what Mike Lindell is saying. Don't pay attention to all these intelligence reports and even media now saying that, yes, in fact, Wu flu did likely escape from that level 4 facility in Wuhan, China. Those same people want you to just go along your merry way, not ask any questions, not by the look. And anybody that considers themselves a political pundit that's trying to convince you it's still Democrat versus Republican or left versus right, they're lying to you, right? And that's the thing I think a lot of us understand by this point, is that there are a lot of people that are in Republican elected positions who only have an R after their name so that MSNBC and Rachel Maddow and Anderson Cooper can call a radical agenda bipartisan, right? The Republican-led Board of Supervisors in Maricopa County that is fighting tooth and nail against what the vast majority of the population in Arizona want, which is an audit, right? The Arizona Republican governor, Greg Ducey, who's fighting against what his entire constituency wants. People that are in elected positions in D.C., who are pushing back and saying the polar opposite of what 70% of their base is saying, and that they think there was something wrong with the November election. So again, just take some time. I'm not going to tell you one way or the other. I'm not going to try to convince you of anything. Just to ask yourself, what if what they're saying is real or only a part? And furthermore, what is your hedge? What is your hedge that if these people who've lied to you for years about Russia collusion and Ukraine great and Biden, the Hunter Biden laptop and all these other things, and whether or not the virus escaped from Wuhan lab, what if all those people are lying to you and these other people that those people are telling you not to listen to are 100% true or 75% true, 50, even 25% true? Because the things that they're talking about and the things that are coming out of Maricopa and Windham and Antrim and now Pennsylvania and Georgia, thankfully, they're society-changing, earth-shattering things, right? Lin Wood, the stuff that he's been talking about. Think about if only part of that is true. What does that mean? And that's, a lot of question of people that don't really put a lot of faith in the audit stuff that's going on. Their whole reasoning is that they don't want to get let down because they've seen us be let down a lot over the last several months. And so their question is always, well, what happens if? What happens if we find out that there was massive fraud in the election? It changed the election across those swing states and others. We're not at that point yet, right? Right now, we need to focus on finding the truth. The truth is really all that matters. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Then we can figure out what happens next and all that. But you personally, what are you going to do, right? If we find out at some point that even a smidgen of what Lin Wood is saying is true, what Lin Wood is saying is true, or Sidney Powell or Mike Lindell or Steve Bannon and all these other people that are being very loud and vocal about what they believe is going on. What are you personally in Middle America going to do? What are you prepared for? I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm not trying to give you any instructions. I would suggest you pay attention to some of these people because, again, if it's not, then what do you have? You have a couple of hours lost from paying attention to what they're saying. Maybe a couple more if you're, somebody that actually researches these things and tries to find out everything for yourself. But if they are true and you don't have any kind of hedges against that, you don't have any kind of plans for what happens in that kind of a monumental change that would be required in our society, you're going to be stuck without a chair when the music stops. So just, again, think about that. Just understand the backgrounds. Understand the great chalkboard in the sky if you're adding up a scoreboard, right? How many times have the MSNBC or the MSM been completely wrong over the last couple of years on things they told you, nothing to see here, these people are all crazy, and then within a couple of months they're walking it back? How some of those were debunked within hours. Those people have been continuously wrong, and they don't apologize. They don't backtrack. They don't walk it back typically at all. They might stealth edit an article that they wrote about it and not tell anybody, not even put out a retraction to stealth edit and put an editor's note at the bottom because they know they were wrong. And my thought is that they probably knew they were wrong from the very beginning when they even started talking about it because a lot of them are just propagandists. But then look on the other side. How many times have Mike Lindell and Lin Wood and these other people that have been very successful in their lives, some of them, Mike Lindell has some checkered past in his background, but over the last several years, how many times has Lin Wood been proven wrong? Proven, not called debunked by Rachel Maddow or Anderson Cooper, but proven wrong with fact-based evidence. I haven't seen it. Has Mike Lindell been proven wrong? No, and I quite to the contrary. If you look at the stuff that he's putting out, there's a lot of data and evidence for what he's saying. Now, Lin Wood, a lot of that stuff is a lot more esoteric, and it's really difficult to prove one way or the other unless things start coming to light that we don't know about. Now, he said that he has dead man switches, so I don't know, we'll see. But those things just got me thinking about that. Like, how many people are really prepared mentally, spiritually, psychologically, if that is ever proven true? How much do you really know about it? How much do you know, not from what the media has told you about Lin Wood says, but about what Lin Wood actually says? That's the same thing with the whole QAnon phenomenon, is the media attributes a lot of things to QAnon drops that were never actually QAnon drops, right? So if you've followed their line of rationale and that QAnon is complete BS, conspiracy theory, a bunch of kooks in a basement, how much do you know about what the actual QAnon drops were versus what the media said about it versus what some random person on Twitter that had a lot of following said about it? How much do you know about the actual source? Same goes for Lin Wood and Mike Lindell. Can't trust what Jimmy Kimmel or Rachel Maddow or Anderson Cooper or Don Lemon tell you about Lin Wood or Sidney Powell or Mike Lindell. I had a lot of conversations with people about that over the weekend in Texas. So didn't want this to be a long one. Wanted to be a pretty short one. Again, not an official. Just prodding you to think and prepare and hedge your bets and do a little investigation for yourself and try to figure out what are you prepared for? What do you really know? What source code do you actually understand about what's going on? Pay attention.